All right, good evening, everyone. Aw, thank you. I'm so excited to welcome you to Carroll Technology Council's IGNITE Carroll 6, where our fabulous speakers will enlighten you with their passions ranging from unicorns to Game of Thrones and everything in between in just 5 minutes. By a round of applause, who here is experiencing IGNITE for the first time? Oh, wonderful. Welcome, welcome. You are in for a treat. My name is Katie Townsley, and I have the distinct pleasure to be the Executive Director of the Carroll Technology Council. It is so nice to see so many faces in a sea of already familiar ones. It's even nicer to see so many students here to support their fellow speaker this evening. So on behalf of the Carroll Technology Council, our Board of Directors, and our members, again, welcome to IGNITE Carroll. I'd like to take a moment to thank the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce and the Launch Carroll Committee for joining the Tech Council members for some great networking just a bit ago. I'd also like to thank PNC Bank for sponsoring that networking opportunity. I think it's safe to say that we all enjoyed ourselves and the opportunity that we had to make a few new connections that we didn't have before. Shortly, you'll be hearing from some of our local community members. They won't be telling you about their 9-to-5 jobs, rather sharing something with you that's more personal to them, something that they too want to enlighten you about. For some, this is even something that they're passionate about. Some of the topics are very serious, others will have you laughing out loud. But that's the point of this evening, to be enlightened and to be inspired. Who knows, maybe next year you'll be up here sharing one of your passions with us. Fortunately for me, I'm very passionate about my position and the role that I play here in the community as the director of the Tech Council. When I started this journey in 2013, I was very unsure what I was getting into. Ask Gary Ditto, God bless him. I repeatedly said over and over again, I'm not a techie, I know nothing about technology. But here I am 4 years later, and I will be the first one to tell you, I have learned a lot. To give you some background, the Carroll Technology Council was conceived in 2001 by local business folks who were interested in advancing technology here in Carroll County to assist the businesses and the community with technology needs. As the Tech Council has matured, the need for businesses to congregate and share with like-minded peers became very apparent. So in January 2004, we opened our doors as an independent nonprofit. Since our inception, the Carroll Technology Council has developed many new programs that benefit both the county as a whole, specifically the county's small businesses. Our focus has been building on business relationships between members' organizations, facilitating the development of technology expertise and potential business opportunities for them. Our mission is to provide technology leadership, information, and resources to develop members' businesses, build strong community partnerships, and advance technology here in Carroll County. Being a community partner, the Tech Council works diligently to bring technology to those who are in need through our Tech Kids and Tech Works program. Through this, the Tech Council has donated computers in excess of over 2,000 to the community and nonprofits free of charge. This past year, thanks to the generous support of the Callard Foundation, we were actually able to provide new, which has never been in my vocabulary before this opportunity, 160 new laptop computers to Carroll County resident students. We're very pleased to be viewed as a go-to tech resource in the community per our mission and to strive to lead the way for Carroll County to be recognized as a technically advanced community with innovative businesses and a tech-savvy citizenry. The Tech Council energizes and engages our businesses and community leaders to leverage the latest technology to positively impact Carroll County, and we love to have fun. Tonight is just a prime example of the fun that we have. So now on with the show. I'd like to introduce our host for the evening, past chairman of the board and IGNITE Committee Chairman, Vince Buscemi. Vince is a lifelong Carroll Countyan, a graduate of Western Maryland College, now McDaniel, and he calls Hill the home as he currently serves as Director of Digital Marketing and Media. In his free time, which I'm not sure why he actually has any, he is a brewmaster. He's on his way to becoming a pro golfer with his mighty driving skills. And in the last year, he's become quite the cigar aficionado. And on the weekends, he can be found at local watering holes as a vocalist and a harmonica player in the band 3 Sheets in the Wind. FYI, if you're around on Friday night, they're playing at Raff's. I strongly encourage you to check them out. They're a lot of fun. Vince resides here in Westminster with his wife Sharon and daughter Brooke. So Vince has a lot of energy and excitement for IGNITE, and you're about to experience it all firsthand. So ladies and gentlemen, on with the show and IGNITE Carroll with Vince Buscemi.
Hey, how is everyone doing this evening? Doing good? can't believe that says 6. IGNITE Carroll 6. This is our 6th time doing it. I've been a part of this all 6 times up here as your MC, presenting twice before, and you will hear me present again this evening. So it's quite an honor to be up here. We've got a tremendous lineup of speakers, and I just want to welcome everyone here, old faces and new faces. I'm so glad to see a nice full house here at the Carroll Art Center. So let's get started. Go ahead and advance. So again, Katie went over this already, but if you wanted to hit us up on social media, you can at me, at Vince Buscemi, or even Katie, and tell us what you think. If it's negative, just keep it to yourself until like 9:30 when I've had a couple beers in me. I'd really appreciate it. Next. We can't do this, and the Tech Council can't do this without our sustaining sponsors. So I just want to give a quick shout out to everyone that you see on that screen. I realize that it's really busy, but thank you to Maryland Department of Commerce and Carroll County Economic Development. Josh Cohn is in the house from Cohn Creative. The Community Media Center is here tonight recording this for us again. Gary Ditto from Who. We've got Chris from Scale. We've got Carroll Community College. Taylor from Chambridge, then the Anverse Foundation, Calvert Foundation, Lorraine Duvall Charitable Trust. It's a lot of people, but honestly, we really appreciate all of that support, and it keeps us going and doing things like this. So thank you. Next. So for give it up. Sure, why not? Also, just a real quick note, as Katie mentioned, I do live here in Westminster, and tonight, for the very first time, my wife and daughter are in the audience, and my father-in-law flew in from England last night just to be here. So give it up for my family. Thank you, guys. Yeah. He's seen me in many YouTube videos across the pond. This time he gets to experience the real deal in real life. So sit back, hold tight, and let's get going. So you might be asking yourself, if you're new, what exactly is IGNITE? So the format is each presenter is given 20 slides that auto-advance every 15 seconds for a total of 5 minutes to share with us something that they're passionate about, an interest that they have, or just something that's really kind of cool and fun and quirky, and they all do it in their own way. There's nothing that combines them all together. It's just the fact that we're sharing the stage tonight for you, and we hope that you really enjoy it. Along the way, if you want, you can use Carroll Tech. Hit us up on Twitter with the hashtag IgniteCarroll6. Also on Facebook or Instagram. We'd love to see posts. We'd love to see your comments. We usually get a lot of buzz around this event, and it's great to see that momentum going so we can fill more of these seats around here at the Art Center. All right, next. So for the speakers, let me just go over this. What's going to happen is I will introduce you. There will be a title slide up there. As soon as I'm done and go down, you come up, and in a moment, in a second or so, your presentation will start. When it starts, it's every 15 seconds, and it doesn't stop. It stops at the very end with a blank slide. If you stumble, just move on. All right, blow it off, smile, shake it off, do whatever you need to do, but just get back on pace, figure it out, and don't sweat it too much. All right, we're all here to support you and to listen to what you have to say. So just take a deep breath and jump right back on in. Next. For the audience, cell phones on silence, please, all right? We definitely want you to have them out. We want you sharing all of this great stuff and people that you really like, but please, let's try to keep all of the ringtones off so we don't have any distractions during this. It's nerve-wracking as it is up here, and we don't need audience noise from cell phones. Be supportive. We're up here for 5 minutes, and like I said, it can be a little intense, so just always, cheer us on, but most importantly, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, all right? Next, I think we're about ready to go. We all ready? All right, next. So, our first speaker is Brett Calgary. Brett was born and raised in Westminster. He graduated from McDaniel College, in 2011, with a degree in business administration and economics and a minor in Spanish, and became a partner at Gage Digital Media in January of 2017. He sits on the board of directors for the South Carroll Business Association, was the treasurer for the campaign for mayor of Westminster this year, and did I see the mayor in the attendance this evening? He is. Hey, what's up, Joe? We haven't met. I'm Vince. You're Joe. He's the mayor. I'm the mayor of here. We're having a great time, right? Nice to meet you, Mayor. All right, getting back here. He's the treasurer for the campaign for mayor and is currently the president of his Duckpin Bowling League. Check that out, right? In his spare time, he enjoys spending time with family, four-legged, furry friends, playing basketball, working on cars, things with motors in general, apparently, and participating in that Duckpin Bowling League. Please welcome Brett.
So when Katie informed me that this presentation should be about something you are passionate about, I struggled to narrow it down to one thing, so I didn't. I found a way to combine two of my passions into one presentation, unicorns and marketing. So today, I give you Finding Your Unicorn, a marketing adventure. So what is a unicorn? Webster says a unicorn is a mythical, usually white animal, generally depicted with the body and head of a horse, with a long flowing mane and tail, and a single spiraled horn in the middle of its forehead. Tonight, our definition is going to be a little bit different. Tonight's definition, a unicorn can be whatever you want it to be. Tonight, we are on the hunt for your marketing unicorn. What's a marketing unicorn, you ask? It's one of those magical campaigns that's so effective that it outperforms any marketing you've ever done in the past. For reference, if you've not yet found your marketing unicorn, what are you? Unfortunately, that would qualify you as a marketing donkey. Unicorn or donkey, the choice is yours. So here's some things to keep in mind. First off, finding a unicorn is not simple, so don't get discouraged. Marketing unicorns definitely do exist. I've seen them, I swear. Consider, who is the audience that you're trying to reach, and are those people using the platform that you believe to be your marketing unicorn? So, where are some places that you can go hunting for your marketing unicorn? There are so many marketing channels that you can find your unicorn in, but tonight we're going to touch on 4. 1, search engines, 2, social media, 3, mailboxes or direct mail, and 4, billboards. So, search engines, are they your marketing unicorn? Here's some things that you should consider. Number 1, do people search for your product or service online? Number 2, does your business show up in search results when they do? And number 3, what search engines should you care about if your business does show up? 6,586,013,574 searches are done per day worldwide. Google received over 77% of searches last year. So Google is a search engine that you should care about, and it's most likely to be your search engine unicorn. Is social media your marketing unicorn? If so, here's some things to consider. Are the people that you are trying to reach using social media? If they are, you need to think about which social media platforms these people are most likely using. So let's start with Facebook. 75% of male internet users are on Facebook, as well as 83% of all female internet users. And sure, Facebook was originally designed for just college students, but today more than half of 50 to 64-year-olds are also on Facebook. Twitter. 88% of businesses with more than 100 employees use Twitter for marketing. Of all the social media platforms, Twitter has one of the youngest average user ages. So if you're looking to target a younger generation, Twitter might just be your marketing unicorn. LinkedIn, Mike Sheila. 45% of adults make more than $75,000 per year using LinkedIn. LinkedIn has traditionally been a networking platform for business professionals. So if you're a business-to-business company, LinkedIn might just be your marketing unicorn. Instagram. As of April of 2017, Instagram stories are used by more than 200 million people daily. Instagram should not be ignored by business-to-business companies, but it is much more likely to be a unicorn for a business-to-consumer company. A photo might just be all a consumer needs to inspire a purchase. Pinterest. 81% of Pinterest users are female, and 87% of pinners have purchased a product through Pinterest. Are women your target audience, and does your business sell a product? If so, Pinterest might just be your marketing unicorn. Snapchat. As of August 2017, Snapchat has 173 million daily active users, and over 2/3 of these users are under 34 years old. Are you looking to target the younger generation, and maybe even more specifically women? If so, Snapchat might be your unicorn. Direct mail. Maybe you have heard that direct mail is dead. Well, that's not necessarily the case. Make sure that you take the time to define your target audience and ask yourself, is direct mail my unicorn? Do not ask this question out loud or directly to other people because they might think you're crazy. Direct mail stats. 2.5 billion coupons were redeemed in 2015 as a result of direct mail. Over 100 million purchases were made through direct mail catalogs in 2016. Clearly, direct mail is not dead. Just make sure it makes sense for you. Billboards. Maybe billboards are your marketing unicorn. Here's some things you should consider. Number 1, is it in the budget? Number 2, are you a location-based business? And number 3, can you set yourself apart from your competitors, and can you do that quickly? So, let's recap tonight. Marketing unicorns are definitely real. Your marketing unicorn might not look like your neighbor's, and that's okay. Finding your marketing unicorn is not always simple, and don't be afraid to search somewhere new for your marketing unicorn. So, at this point, I know that unicorns can be tough to understand, so I wanted to make sure I saved ample time for questions. I set aside one entire slide, so we have about 15 seconds, minus the time that it takes me to read this, to go ahead and answer any questions. So by show of hands, as long as we have any time, I'll go ahead and take,
That's how you kick off IGNITE right there. Great job. Great job. All right, next up, Nathan Daly. Nathan is a high school junior who is passionate about robotics. He has been a member for the past 2 years of the Robo Lions, a community-based Carroll County first robotics team. This year, he is the build team captain for the competition season. His mechanical and programming experience prepared him for an internship last summer at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. That's pretty impressive. Good job. He is also a member of his school's cross-country and debates team. Please welcome Nathan.
I've been told that I have 5 minutes to speak. In fact, every single advertisement for this event announces that I and every single other person on this stage tonight have only 5 minutes to speak. And so it seems that tonight it would be quite appropriate to ask the question, what can happen in 5 minutes? But before answering this question, I'd like to give a bit of background about why I'm here. I'm here because a little over 2 years ago, I was introduced to First Robotics Competition, or FRC, an international program which pits teams of high school students against each other, designing and building robots to complete a variety of tasks. I found it such a valuable experience that I'm here tonight to tell you about it. This is why I'm asking what can happen in 5 minutes, because it's the driving question of First Robotics Competition. It's the question that teams around the world set out to answer each competition season. But they're not just trying to find the answer, they're trying to make the answer. Every team, every year, wants to be the one to redefine what can happen in 5 minutes. In FRC, 5 minutes is the length of 2 matches. One 2.5-minute match spent in queue, strategizing with 2 partner teams, and 1 match, another 2.5 minutes on the field, facing off against another alliance of 3. Each year, the team which makes the best use of these 5 minutes, the team with the best strategy, the most efficient robot, the most versatile drivers, the team which above all others pushes the limits of what can happen in 5 minutes, that team is crowned the champion. But how does a team get to that point? To understand that, we have to ask a different question. What can happen in 6 weeks? In 6 weeks, a team must design and build its competition robot. Every first Saturday of January, FRC teams around the world are given their first look at the year's unique set of challenges, which can range from stacking crates to opening a gate to climbing a rope. For 6 weeks, but no more, teams work to construct a fully functional 120-pound robot to meet those challenges. Then, the robot is sealed inside a bag, not to be changed or touched until the day of competition. Thus, success in FIRST Robotics hinges on realism and determination. A team must be realistic. It must make a sober assessment of what can and can't happen with its limited time and resources. Without realism, all of the team's most brilliant ideas will fail, simply because there's no time to put them into action. But a team must also be determined. Each member must be willing to work harder, to work longer, so that the team can push the limits of what can happen in 6 weeks. With realism and determination, the team's plans and ideas can be brought to fruition. But this certainly doesn't only apply to 6 weeks. The lessons I've learned in FIRST Robotics competition can relate to any problem, whether preparing to speak tonight or making 100 pounds of metal climb a rope. The realism and determination I've learned from my years of FRC have been invaluable. FRC teams must be realistic. They must anticipate the difficulties which can arise in a match. Opposing robots, or even field elements, can impede a robot's progress. Mechanisms can break or malfunction. But that's all the more reason for teams to be determined. They must be determined to do whatever is necessary, modifying their robot between matches, adapting their strategy during a match, to overcome these obstacles, and to redefine what can happen in 5 minutes. Over the past few weeks, as I've been preparing to speak tonight, that question has weighed heavily on my mind. Preparing for these 5 minutes on stage, I've often asked myself what they will amount to. What can happen? What can I make to happen in 5 minutes? And I don't think I'm alone in asking that. Perhaps not what can happen in 5 minutes, but what can happen in a day, a week, a year. What can happen in a lifetime? We all ask that, don't we? We all spend our lives trying to find the answer. And as I continue my search through college and my career and beyond, I know that the lessons I've learned from FIRST Robotics competition will help lead me to that answer. Thank you.
So Nathan, we are here to ask you and your coaches and your colleagues to come up on stage for a minute because the Tech Council has a presentation to make to you. I'd also like to ask the CTC's Board of Directors, President of the Board, Josh Cohn, and Bob Dorr to come to the stage as well. Josh is currently serving as our Board Chairman, and Bob Dorr is our CTC Tech Kids Program Chairman as well. In 2016, the Carroll Technology Council was fortunate to receive a grant from the Carroll Art Foundation, which we have applied to funding towards STEM activities in Carroll County. To date, our Tech Kids program, as I mentioned earlier, has donated over 2,000 computers back into the community at no charge. With the assistance of the funding that we received from the Carroll Art Foundation, for the first time, the CTC again was able to provide new laptop computers, many of which went to robotics programs in the county. Additionally, we funded college scholarships, sent kids to STEM camp, sponsored students in Skills USA's national competitions, and so much more. So tonight, we'd like to present to the Pie Tree Robotics. Woo, hold on. There you go. Careful, it's dry erase. Go that way. Not that one, you can't cash. So tonight, we would like to present to Pi 3 Robo Lions Robotics Club a check in the amount of $1,500. So go on over there, guys. To assist the team with the expenses that they will have during the upcoming competitions during the season. So it's my understanding that we have some of the key players of the team here with us this evening. Nathan, who was the bill lead who just spoke a moment ago. Josh, who is the team lead, and Shannon, who is the PR team lead. Did I get that right? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. We also have coaches Rose and Mark, and I'm sorry, I don't know you. Tom, I apologize. But anyhow, so on behalf of the Tech Council, we wish you the best of luck this year in your competitions, and we're really excited to be able to be a part of this opportunity to help you further your goals. So congratulations, guys. All right. This one you can catch. There's a wall there.
That is some awesome stuff right there. One of the reasons why I'm proud to have been and still participate with the Tech Council in this community, one of the best things that we have, you know, is the community coming together to support kids and their dreams. So that's just fantastic, guys. It really is. All righty. Next up, we have Sasha Flores. Sasha is undeniably one of the most passionate, inspiring, and engaging personalities you will come across in your travels through life. I get that a lot myself, so we might open up a black hole or something, like all of a sudden the time-space continuum. All right, never mind. Through the power of her sheer determination, Sasha carves a unique niche as a speaker, traveler, giver of life knowledge and experiences. She is always in the lead when it comes to helping those who don't have a voice and believes life, entertainment, enlightenment, and education lay the staircase for your dreams. Sasha speaks to the heart by focusing on inspiring a virtuous life, curiosity, gratitude, hope, zest, and the love of an ever-changing life. And through this, she has found ways to speak the language of the listener and delivers personal insight that brings real answers to the issues that affect us both publicly and personally. Please welcome Sasha Flores.
I understand tonight that you've clearly read what I'm about to talk about, and I promise this one disclaimer. I have no cape, it will not come out, and I will not subject you to any of my powers. This evening, we're going to talk about a couple of superheroes that you know, and some that you don't. These are a few of my favorite. I have to say, I like Thor, because he's just a god. And Wonder Woman, well, if you haven't seen the movie, I suggest you go see it now. It is available on video. Hit repeat. But what I want to talk to you about are office heroes. Every one of us knows someone who we work with or who we associate with who is phenomenal at what they do, not for them, but for us. I myself consider myself an office hero, except like I told you, the cape is at home. As with most things in life, I have to tell you, we're gonna go on a small journey. Don't be afraid if I ask you questions. You don't have to all answer at once. What I wanna talk to you about is someone who was a hero for me, and yes, I'm going to tell a story. One day I was at work, and of course I was clearly doing my job, because anything less than that would totally be uncivilized, when I got a phone call. Another coworker came to me and said, "Hey, I need you to help me with something." Now, I know I have my own things to do, but I had that split-second moment to make a decision. Am I gonna help her, or am I gonna tell her I'll call her back later and never do? I chose to do something different. I said, okay, tell me what you got, I'll help you out. She had a very complicated problem that was easily solved. I fixed it. Does it matter what it is? Nah. Did it matter to her? Yes. I did something for her, and she in turn did something for me. She changed the notion that I should just rush other people off the phone instead of solving the problem and helping someone else solve their own issues. I don't know about you, but I can tell you about me, and I assure you that there's nothing greater than making someone feel good about their job. So where do you fit in? Pretty simple. You should be a hero. It's not complicated. One of the things that I like to tell people about is just these couple of things. You've got to have buy-in, you've got to be credible, you got to actually know what you're talking about, and if nothing else, you got to fake it till you make it, because of course, if you sound like you know what you're talking about, then other people kind of think that you do. Can I get a yeah? Yeah. Thank you, that lets me know that you're all paying attention and I must have wrote something down correctly. So what do the numbers say? Well, numbers are pretty easy. Everyone who's ever felt good because someone helped them, say yeah. Yeah. Anyone who's ever felt like I should hit you because you didn't help me, say yeah. Yeah. I know we could go into the stats and the details, but I can tell you that 10% of everyone that works with you or associates with you is clearly trying to sink your boat. That leaves what? Another percentage laying in the clouds. Well, 70% of those people that are left are actually trying to move the boat along. And that leaves 20% who are superstars. I know a superstar. I think I am a superstar. But that remains another story, another day. So what is extraordinary versus ordinary? Extraordinary is going above and beyond, answering the questions, doing what's necessary, taking the time, getting the buy-in, and helping people. Sometimes answering a question, sometimes just being there for support. I know that we're all capable of being extraordinary, but to help you, I kind of came up with this really cute idea. I threw some squiggly lines on a piece of paper and came up with an acronym called SAVE. I know you can read, but it's pretty simple. Be sincere, be available, be vulnerable. Yes, that means say, I don't know. And then, be extraordinary. Pretty simple. You got it? Yeah. Are you sure? Yeah. Now, if you like the acronym and you thought that that was cute, can I get another yeah? See, you don't have to be long-winded or give long speeches to talk about how to save someone. It doesn't have to be rocket science. It's really simple, and you can do it every day. The next part of this is about time. I've taken time to come talk to you about something that I hold near and dear. You've taken time to come hear me talk. That's important. Why does it matter? Because in life, the people that you sit with, the people that you mingle with, the folks that you pass on the street, the folks that you take time to help, they remember it, and they pay it forward, and they come back, and they pay it forward to you. That's the best feeling in the world, knowing that you did something to spark a change in someone's life. So this evening, I need you all to untuck your capes, take them out of your back pocket, wear them proudly, let them flow in the wind. Because there is nothing like being someone else's hero. And who knows, you might turn around one day, look in the mirror, and be a hero yourself. Thank you.
Anybody else singing, "We can be heroes"? Just me? Okay. Oh, that was fantastic. And again, a really simple message that I think we can all take to heart. Save, that's really fantastic. Real quick, I'm bummed because we had a person that wasn't able to make it tonight. And if you were here last year, you might remember Terry McGregor was giving us a presentation about artificial intelligence and left a couple of slides in at the end of his presentation that I didn't realize were still there. So he gets off the stage and I come up on the stage and his presentation continues on. So I continued it for him, of course. This was going to come out again this evening. I was going to make fun of him. He was going to make fun of me. And now that can't happen. So I'm really bummed. So this is the open invitation to come back next year to Ignite 7 when we can actually make that happen. Next up, though, we have Eric Williamson. Eric is the president and CEO of Tailored Training Solutions, a small business that solves various workplace challenges through workshops and keynote speeches. He is often referred to as the connector for his ability to make his message resonate with groups, or as the change maker for his ability to inspire change and improve morale, provides a coach skill that brings out the best in people. He is known for his empathetic, engaging, down-to-earth style. Eric's fusion of real-life stories and his conversational techniques connect him with his audience at an intimate, intense, and individual level. There's a lot more here, buddy. You went all out. Eric's desire, I'm going to see how quickly I can go through this. Eric's desire to see others improve, survive, and thrive in the workplace is what drives him to speak with you today. He has delivered motivational speakers and motivational speeches, see now I'm messing up, and training workshops to businesses and organizations throughout the country. And today, he is excited for the opportunity to share tips and strategies that will help you not only survive, but thrive in the work environment. Today, he will help you take steps to only improve your workplace relationships, especially with the people that you can't stand, and help you understand how you can apply emotional intelligence so that you all can succeed in all areas of life. I'm almost done. He is a speaker, workshop trainer, author of a forthcoming book, How to Work with Jerks. Please help me welcome Eric Williamson and How to Work with Jerks.
Y'all give yourselves a hand if you're grateful to have a job, huh? All right. Now look, despite being grateful, how many of you have ever had difficulty working with people? Yeah, I'm seeing some people shake their hand, yeah. Whether they're rude, sarcastic, or bossy, these people, they can be jerks, right? They can make us want to avoid them or tell them exactly what's on our mind or show them exactly how we feel. But this can have a real impact on where you work. Because not only does it affect your company's bottom line, but it can affect your health and your well-being. The cost of dealing with jerks leads to decreased productivity, work absence, and poor relationships. Now, believe it or not, working with jerks, that can make you less productive. As a matter of fact, we can spend up to 3 hours per week dealing with conflict from jerks rather than getting our own work done. This could be taxing on your mind as well as your body. And because it's taxing on your mind and body, some of us, we don't want to show up to work. As a matter of fact, 1 out of every 4 people in this room may not show up to work due to being too stressed, too sick, or just don't feel like dealing with jerks. We avoid them. But there are some of us who get so fed up with dealing with jerks, we leave the company, voluntarily or involuntarily. And for all you leaders out there, replacing an employee can cost more than 200% of that employee's original salary. Now, it also leads to poor relationships. We may not want to admit it, but we rely on others, especially jerks, to get our work done. But these poor relationships can lead to hostility, resentment, just to name a few. But sadly, if not addressed the right way, things can come to a head. Dealing with jerks the wrong way can lead to workplace violence. Workplace violence accounts for nearly 18% of simple assaults and 13% of aggravated assaults. So how can we prevent this from happening? How can we work better with jerks, become happier, and less stressed? Well, the solution is emotional intelligence, the ability to keep our emotions and our behaviors in check. Now, in 1995, research drastically changed our perception that IQ was the sole source of success. But see, emotional intelligence is the sole predictor that sets the star performer apart. It's twice as effective because it requires you to be aware of your emotions and the emotions of others, manage your emotions to prevent you from reacting on impulse, staying motivated in the face of adversity, empathizing with others to feel what they experience, and managing relationships to build coalitions and networks. Now, you may be familiar with some of these traits, but not all of them. But it's important that you understand all these traits to keep you from becoming a jerk yourself, because you want to be able to respond constructively and healthy when dealing with conflict. Now, emotional intelligence does more than just help you work better with jerks. It can lead to more money, it can reduce your stress, and it can advance your career. For example, people who have a high emotional intelligence earn on average $29,000 more than someone who has a low emotional intelligence. And that's because these people, they're able to manage their emotions when dealing with those kind of people that you just can't stand much more effectively. Now, you may have gotten hired due to receiving good grades or high IQ scores, but emotional intelligence, that's what gets you promoted. That's because these people can take on leadership and management responsibilities, and they can take their time with managing relationships to get other people to do their work. Now, by alleviating stress, by managing your emotions and the emotions of others, and controlling those emotions, you can alleviate stress. As a matter of fact, you can make those stressful situations where, just like the commercial, you want to get away, much more manageable. So, the question for you is, how can you apply emotional intelligence so that you can work better with jerks before you do something you regret? Well, there's a technique that I highly recommend, and you could begin using it immediately. The more you practice it, the better you can master it. I call it the AAA effect: assess, analyze, act. Assess the situation to determine why you're stressed, then analyze your feelings and try to understand the feelings of others. And once you have a full understanding, you can act most appropriately. So instead of doing something like a jerk, you could take a more measured approach, demonstrate poise, and respond thoughtfully and professionally. Now, as my mentor once told me, it's not about the work, it's about the people. And in today's environment, emotional intelligence means more than ever before, because relationships matter. So it's important for you to build your emotional intelligence so that you can work better with everyone, but especially those jerks. Have a good one.
Really fantastic stuff there, Eric. Thank you so much. Next up, Kelly Heck, another IGNITE veteran. Kelly Heck is a professional photographer located right here in Carroll County, offering her services to both businesses and consumers who are looking for creative portraiture and other photographic needs. And Kelly was just named Carroll's Best Honorable Mention Photographer for a second year in a row. Today, she is pleased to share with you a slightly humorous take on posing so that you can always look your very best in all of your photos, from professional photo shoots to selfie shots. Take it away, Kelly!
Hey everybody, I'm here to talk to you about the do's and don'ts of posing so that you can look your very best in your future photo shoots. Now, keep in mind these are general guidelines. Guidelines are meant to be broken, but this is a good starting point. And at the very end of the presentation, we're going to do a seated pose together, so be ready. So let's start with the smile. We've all had that bad, cheesy grin and the dead eyes, right? Am I right? So the one thing I'm going to say is stop saying cheese. It's very cheesy. So what we're going to say instead is say money. Everybody likes money. Or give us a good giggle, because what that's going to do, both of those actions give us a nice curl to the lips. It gives us a nice crinkle to the eyes. It's that Tyra Banks schmize that we're looking for, the smiling in the eyes. So the next problem we have is when I smile, I tend to pull my face back, and that squares our jawline, and it gives us this whole double chin sort of thing happening here, right? So we need to try and figure out how to get rid of that, and to do that, we're going to elongate. So to elongate, what we need to avoid is I see a lot of people, they bring their nose up or they bring their forehead down. What we need to do is imagine that you have a string attached to the tip of your nose and I'm pulling you forward, and you're going to press your face forward towards the camera in front of you, and that chin, it just magically goes away. Now we can also do a turn and tilt. Let me just clarify. A turn is chin to shoulder, a tilt is ear to shoulder. So for the guys and girls, a turn looks really great, and a tilt is great for the women. It adds a little bit of a feminine touch. Oh. So the next thing, body, right? We have this whole mass right here that we all want to hide. So what we want to do is not stand straight like a stick figure. We need to kind of get rid of some of this stuff. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to do this 45-degree angle sort of thing. Turn your body away from the camera, bring your shoulders back, and we're going to press forward a little bit. So what this does is it tightens everything, and it just hides about, 10, 20 pounds. So that's some exciting stuff, right? Oh, thank you, thank you. So let's veer away from posing for a second and talk about light, because if you have crappy light, we're going to have crappy photos. So when we're indoors, we want to avoid flash. Usually flash is really unflattering, and we want to avoid backlight in the sense of like our background being really bright. So instead, in this example, what I've done is I've faced a window that has nice bounce light coming in. So you want to find that nice, soft, natural light, and we also want to turn a little bit on a side because it's going to help emphasize the shape of our face and give some depth to our cheekbones. So when we're outside, typically midday light is horrible. We don't want it. It's horrible shadows. What we want to look for instead is going to be soft light. So think about the weather. If it's an overcast or cloudy day, we're going to have really soft, gentle light. If it's the time of day, we're looking for golden hour, which is the hour after sunset or the hour coming up into sunrise. And we can also look for places outside any time of day that have shade and not too bright of a background that are going to work for all of our cameras. So next thing, what do we do with these gangly things right here? So we don't really want to just stand straight because it kind of makes us into more of a block. So instead what we can do is, ladies, we can put our hands on the hips, right? we can bring our hands down and we want to cinch the elbows back a little bit to accentuate the hourglass figure. For girls and guys, we can cross the arms, ladies fingers out, men put those fists behind and pump those biceps out. And we can also, there's tons of other things we can do. We can go like this. So then we've got our feet. Oh my gosh, we've got to do head to toe stuff, right? So obviously we're turning on an angle, so that's good. Women can point their front foot forward, put the weight on the back leg, get more of that S-figure sexiness going on. And for guys, you know, just chill out and kind of like shift your weight a little bit and have some fun. So next up, I'm talking too fast. Those are my feet, by the way. Oh, thank you. All right. So all of these tips are total trash if your posture sucks. So one thing we got to remember is we get tense and our shoulders start to ride up. So let those shoulders relax and imagine you have an orange between your shoulder blades and squeeze that orange. See that difference? It's going to tighten my torso and it's going to lift everything. When we do all this twisting and turning stuff and we feel really funky, it works. All right. So girls, come to the edge of your seat for me real quick. You are going to lean towards your left arm on your chair, and you're going to bring your arm over here. You're going to push forward, bring your knees together, push forward, bring your nose towards me, and pull your shoulders back. Ah, very nice. All right, guys, same thing. You're going to come forward, one foot a little bit further forward, lean your forearm down, bring this other hand, thumb to the back on the leg, press forward, pull your shoulders back, and bring your nose to me. Sexy. All right, so I hope all these tips bring you confidence in all of your future photo shoots, and, you know, call me if you need help.
I was reminded of that Friends episode where Monica was like big Monica and Chandler was making fun of her, and she's like, the camera puts on 20 pounds, and he goes, how many cameras were on you? That's my best Chandler. I don't know. We've hit that point of the evening already. It's all right. I'm winning, right, Mike? Where's Mike McMullen? Winning! All right. Next up, we have Brian Wagner. Brian is a professional engineer and works for KCI Technologies, where he is an associate and senior project manager. Brian works in KCI's headquarters office located in Sparks, Maryland. Mr. Wagner is assigned to the land development practice and generally focuses on municipal and commercial projects, but he also has extensive experience in residential projects. Considered an expert in stormwater management, computations, and hydraulics, Mr. Wagner has been published in trade magazines and presented at several conferences and symposiums. Brian lives in Tawnytown with his wife Sarah and 2 children. Please welcome to the stage, Brian.
So an engineer has a hand in nearly everything we see around us. There are structural engineers, geotechnical engineers, transportation engineers, among many other disciplines, including my specialty, site civil engineering. Tonight, we're going to talk about the July 30th, 2016 flash flood that occurred in Ellicott City, Maryland, an event that many of you surely have heard about. Let's walk through a scenario. It's a July evening in central Maryland, so the weather forecast has a chance of isolated thunderstorms. Imagine yourself heading out with friends, much like tonight, and for the first hour or so, we sip cocktails at the bar before placing our order, and it's raining, but nothing uncommon. By 7:45, that late arriving friend walks in soaked because by now, it's raining pretty heavily, but we're still enjoying good company, so we don't think much of it until somebody notices that the road begins to flood. Storm drains that are meant to capture and convey stormwater under the road simply are unable to keep up, and the road starts to turn into a stream. Between 7:30 and 8:30, the storm drops more than 4.5 inches of rain, and that nice evening out has changed to fear as we're moved from the bar to the upstairs offices, storage rooms, and in some cases, even apartments. In total, more than 6 inches of rain has fallen, and social media has become a flurry of activity with amazing live feeds and other photos showing historic Ellicott City Main Street as a river. Let it catch up for a second. Cars are being washed downstream, and a historic clock has been ripped from its foundation. There's a heroic video many of you have probably seen, a human chain of people rescuing a lady from a car before her floodwaters begin to wash the car away. The storm subsides around 9:15, and according to the National Weather Service rain gauge, about 6.6 inches of rain has fallen in 3 hours, and in fact, 2 people have passed away. This was a 1,000-year flood event. The floodwater passes within the hour, and this photo was taken the next morning showing the destruction caused by running water through the streets. The damage was remarkable and unlike anything that's been seen in the flood-prone area. More than 200 vehicles were damaged or destroyed, 20 of which were washed into the Patapsco River, one of which was carried nearly a mile downstream. Immediately after the storm, many people, including myself, asked why. How could an evening thunderstorm cause so much damage so fast? To begin to understand that, we have to understand a little bit about the watershed. Ellicott City is situated along the Patapsco River at the bottom of Tiber Run. Tiber Run is a watershed comprised of about 3.7 square miles of typical suburban land uses. The storm was a very high-intensity storm. At its peak, according to the rain gauge, it deluged about 1.5 inches of rain in 10 minutes. Watching the radar loop, you'll see a high-intensity red area continue to downpour on the watershed outlined in white. One unique characteristic of Ellicott City is the drainage of Tiber Run actually passes through a channel that goes directly under many of the buildings along Main Street. Unfortunately, the capacity of that channel and the surrounding infrastructure could not keep up with the rainfall inundating the watershed. This resulted in foundations literally being washed away. And in reality, most storm systems that are designed today are not designed to carry a storm of this magnitude. They are simply too rare, and it's too expensive to build that infrastructure. The storm also caused one stormwater management basin to fail, sending water that was intended to hold back rapidly downstream. That dam's failure is what spurred me to evaluate this storm and write a technical paper that has been published in a popular trade magazine. This was a 1,000-year flood based on the probability of recurrence. It doesn't mean that this storm will only occur once every 1,000 years. It just means that the probability of it happening in any given year is 0.001. A FEMA floodplain is delineated on a 100-year probability of recurrence, but most storm drain systems are designed on 10 or 25-year levels, which is much less than a 1,000-year event. Nature is powerful and relentless, and no design is perfect, and it's impossible to design infrastructure to convey every storm. This is the challenge that I get to face every day on every project, and why I'm proud to be a professional engineer. Thank you.
Well done, Brian. Thank you so much for sharing that. Katie, did you want to also join me up here? We're at the halfway point, so we're going to take a 20-minute intermission. Oh, I left my phone down there. What time is it? Yell it out. 8:09. 8:09. So we're going to shoot for 8:30 back here, but first a few comments from Katie.
So normally we don't do this, but I wanted to take a moment to make you aware of a community initiative that's currently taking place in Carroll County. As you may be aware, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this topic, but I wanted to share with you some statistics so you can understand why I wanted to share this initiative with you. 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men reported being victims of severe physical violence by an intimate partner. 30 to 60% of these perpetrators of a partner abused or also abused the children that are in their household. 32% of the women who sought help at hospitals, emergency rooms, inpatient units, or ambulatory care services for injuries specifically resulting from this abuse. In fiscal year 2016, 55 Marylanders lost their lives as a direct result of domestic violence. Fortunately, none of those lives were lost here in Carroll County. For the second year in a row, Carroll Tech Council member and Chamber of Commerce member Terry Smack, owner of Terry's Tag and Title and a survivor of domestic violence herself, has partnered with the State's Attorney's Office here in Carroll County to create survivor satchels, supplying many items that are much needed to individuals and children who have fled their abusers for safety in shelters. Oftentimes, when these individuals flee and they're brave enough to leave their homes to seek help, they leave with very little, just the bare necessities, if even that. So the survivor satchels are a reusable linen bag that are, which contain a card listing items needed by the shelter, a domestic violence fact sheet, as well as the resources for assistance to those individuals who may be in need of the services. For anyone who's interested, we do have some of those bags here for you tonight. Terry will be happy to pick them up. You can leave them in the Tech Council office. You can take them to the State's Attorney's office. But we just think that this is an important initiative to be able to put back in the county, and since she is a member of both organizations that are involved tonight, I just wanted to make you all aware that this initiative is going on. So enjoy your intermission. There are beverages, cold pizza, but cold pizza is really good with cold beer. And have a good time, and we'll see you back here in 20 minutes for our second act.
He's getting it. Welcome back, everyone. Grab a seat. Come on back from the party lounge. Next slide.
Perfect.
Bam.
All right. So real quickly, we just want to tell you about some of our Tech Council upcoming events. But also, I want to let you know we have these nice IGNITE shirts for any of you speakers or anybody who wants them. They are for sale in the lobby. You can see me later. All right, so first up, we have next Thursday night, CTC's Auto Tech, which is going to be hosted at Westminster Speed and Sound, and it is featuring John Davis from MPT's Motor Week as our MC. So join us as we explore how technology has evolved in automobiles through the years. John will discuss auto tech, electrics and hybrids, autonomous vehicles, and more. Scheduled to appear, we have the Tesla Model X. This morning, we just confirmed having the new Chevy Bolt with a B. We will have a 2018 Ford Fusion Energy, a Toyota Avalon, a 2009 BMW with a bunch of numbers and letters I don't understand, with over 30, not a techie, with over $30,000 worth of tech upgrades. And then going back to the original muscle car, Dave Schaefer is going to be highlighting his 1966 Ford Shelby GT 350H. So we're excited to be able to show all that. Advanced registration is required for that through the Tech Council website, and beverages will be included in that event as well. And we do have an event sponsor, and that's Marsha Duffy from State Farm Insurance. So thank you for that. Next slide. Perfect. We have partnered up with the community. We have with our partners with Carroll County Public Library, Economic Development, with Magic to host the first annual, hopefully annual, Carroll County Tech Trek. And so what that is we are opening up our doors to our business members, the libraries, featuring a ton of different opportunities in each of the six branches of the library, and then Magic is hosting a hackathon. So we're encouraging people, students, whomever, to come out and see the cool technology that's taking place in Carroll County. Next slide, please. On November the 9th, we are hosting Speed Data. Think speed dating, but only with a technology focus. It's the opportunity for you to sit down with industry leaders and pick their brains, but again, for only 5 minutes before having to move on. So for personal experience, I can assure you you'll get more out of speed data than you will out of speed dating. Anyhow, next slide, please. Yeah, no. So next up, we have our casino night, which is going to be hosted on Saturday, November the 11th. It is our Technically Speaking Awards, Technically Speaking event and our awards gala. It's a great night to cut loose and win some wonderful prizes. We'll also be recognizing our Techie of the Year, Tech Company of the Year, and our Community Partner of the Year. This year, the Tech Council is recognizing the Callard Foundation for all that they have contributed to the Tech Council over the past year. Next slide. We will be rounding out the year with our annual holiday party on December the 14th at Cone Creative. So we encourage you all to attend. They are not just exclusive for Tech Council members, but for the whole community as well. So if you have any questions about the Tech Council or about any of our events, you can see myself or any of our members afterwards. So again, thank you all for being here tonight, and enjoy the second half.
All right. Once again, thank you to all of our sponsors. I won't go through them all again. You can see them there. Again, the hashtags, the Twitter handle, keep some social media stuff going on. we're ready to go. I love this because I think this is our first legacy presenter, because Carly's dad presented at a previous IGNITE, and so now we have Carly. So Carly Hudson earned her Bachelor of Arts degree from the McDaniel College in Business Administration, Economics, Finance, graduating from the Honors Program cum laude. Carly is a strong member of the Carroll County community, involved with Carroll County Chamber of Commerce, and a previous recipient of the Youth Philanthropist of the Year Award. Carly is a financial advisor with Edward Jones, with a great passion for her Carroll County home. Carly married her husband Tyler in May of 2017 in Myersville, Maryland, and recently purchased a home in Union Mills where they live with their puppy, Chandler. Aww. Carly's here to present a sleight of hand, economically speaking. Please welcome Carly Hudson, everybody.
All right. So I'm actually going to start today. I was going to start with one disappointment, but now I have two because I didn't bring the puppy, so I apologize on that. But the obvious disappointment, we're going to start off the second half of our show here, talking about economics. So don't all cheer at once. I know we're really excited about that. But actually, this is something that I found in my own research, and I thought an opportunity to share that with you. So at the next party you go to and you want to share a little bit about economics, now you have this. So I actually want to start today by asking you to take out your phones, because you're tweeting and hashtagging and such, and pull up an Uber app if you have it. I know we're in Carroll County, so we'll see if that happens. But the first thing you're going to see is a current location. They're going to ask you for a destination. I've picked Chipotle, naturally. And then the next thing that they're going to ask you here is 3 parts, which vehicle you like. So that's up to you. You know your style. Now you can actually go ahead and press request right now. Your Uber will be waiting out front, so you don't have to hear the rest of this. Like I said, it's economics, so I'll save you now. But if you want to hang out, there's more fun presentations to come, and we'll stick with it. So about a year ago, I was living in Phoenix, New Year's Eve. We wanted an Uber ride to downtown, $16 to get there. Now fast forward to 2 a.m., New Year's Eve, we've passed through the evening, we're ready to head home. That $16 Uber ride was now $65. Same distance, same vehicle, but why, and why do we care? Now, you may have heard of a guy named Adam Smith and his invisible hand theory, and that's where this ties together. So Adam Smith, actually known for his invisible hand theory, was first and foremost, very well versed in moral philosophy, rhetoric, and human nature, and then applied those philosophies to economics. He was known for his methodical speech and meticulous word choice, both spoken and written word. So today, his theory is explained as a force under which individuals and society act, an invisible hand guiding us in self-interest and therefore to the betterment of economic society. He refers to his invisible hand 3 different times in 3 different works. The first one's in his History of Astronomy, as he mentions the invisible hand as he talks about religion and science. Now I want you to notice the word before invisible hand, and in this case it's the, so keep that in mind as we move to the next one. In his theory of moral sentiments, Smith talks about restrictions that are harmful to society on imports, and actually that it's better as one acts in his own security, led by an invisible hand to promote an end which was no part of his intention. In this case, it's an invisible hand. And lastly, in The Wealth of Nations, he mentions it again as an invisible hand, without knowing it, advancing the interest of society. So in case you forgot, we'll run through all 3 of those. The first case, he mentions the invisible hand. And then the 2 latter cases, he mentions an invisible hand. So again, why do we care, and what does this have to do with Uber? All right, so as I mentioned, first and foremost, Adam Smith was a master of rhetoric. So the fact that he used the in one case and an in the 2 other cases is no happenstance. So in the first part, when he mentions the, he's referring to the theory in general, or a singular one type piece as he talks about religion and astronomy. But in the 2 other parts, as he mentions he's speaking in terms of plural, multiples, plurality. So if you go back to that Uber app where you picked a destination, you opened your app, you picked your vehicle, there's 3 parts to keep in mind here that give a clear explanation as to why Smith would have chosen an as a plural instead of the and keeping it singular. Those 3 parts are you, 2, the supplier, and 3, the price. as we talk about you, like I mentioned, you as an individual picked your location, you picked your type of vehicle, and you picked where you'd like to go. And the reason, because you have an agenda, you know where you want to go. I mean, I picked Chipotle, obviously. Pizza was great, though. Thank you. So if we're looking at the supplier, that's your driver. Why does he even care to pick you up in the first place? There's got to be some incentive there other than just driving you around because he's kind, I guess. And that leads us to our third point. Okay, so your Uber driver, you have the incentive to go to Chipotle, you want your food. Your Uber driver would like to make some money on the side because he really wants the new iPhone 10 or X, I don't really know. And the third point would be price. So as you've decided in your own self-interest that you want to head for food, your driver's headed in his own self-interest because he wants his new iPhone. So that's how you've connected. Yes, you have the app, but there's something that as you both individually act in your own self-interest, you've communicated that value on an even plane. So as Adam Smith says, that as we act in our own interests, it's the great chessboard of human society, that every single piece has a principal motion of its own. It's not one invisible hand, but it's each of us led in our own. So at this point, in your own interest, click request, because now you can leave if you really want to, because I'm done. Thank you.
I thought I was done. Okay, so next up is our very own Vince Buscemi, who at this point I don't think needs any introduction because we've all seen him, heard him, and enjoyed his enlightened passion for the evening. So just a quick little note, though, for Vince is that he is an alum of Western Maryland College, proudly holds that diploma that says both Western Maryland College and McDaniel College as a class of '99 alum. So here we have Vince Buscemi, who is going to enlighten us about celebrating 150 years on the Hill.
Yeah, 150 years in 5 minutes. All right, Faye Buell arrives in Carroll County in 1854. In 1860, he establishes the Westminster Male and Female School. In 1865, shortly after the Civil War, Buell dreams of opening a private college and decides to purchase 8 acres of land atop a hill overlooking the town of Westminster. In 1866, financing was slow, but he received a loan from 2 community leaders, one of which is John Smith, to start building Main Hall. The college is named Western Maryland College at the suggestion of John Smith because he is the president of the Western Maryland Railroad. The building was completed in September of 1867. 37 men and women are enrolled in 8 areas of study. On September 4th, 1867, the first academic year begins at the Western Maryland College. We were the first co-educational institution south of the Mason-Dixon line. March 30th of 1868, the college charter is approved. In June of '69, the first commencement exercises takes place, and our first graduating class is June 15th, 1871. And yes, there is a Yingling in that picture. That family's been around here forever. In 72, the Alumni Association is formed, and this is President Ulysses S. Grant, who toured the college October 1st of 1873. That's it. That's all we know. We don't know why he was here. We don't know what he did, but he was here October 1st of 73. In 1880, young William Roberts McDaniel graduates second highest in his class. In 1885, he was then hired as a mathematics professor. He's middle top row up there, and would remain at the college in a variety of roles until his death. In 1887, fun fact, the first telephone was installed on campus in the president's office. In 1889, the president's house was completed, and it was the first of 4 campus buildings designed by Baltimore architect Jackson Gott. There has always been a strong heritage of foreign students at Western Maryland College, and in 1890, Masao Tsun Hirata was the first foreign-born graduate. You can actually see her in the library right there wearing the kimono, and in 1890, she moved back to Japan. In 1898, the iconic Ward Memorial Arch was originally between the President's House and McDaniel Hall. They tore it down, numbered each stone to resurrect it. Unfortunately, it rained and snowed, and all the numbers washed away, but one of the builders wrote down everything on his lunch bag and put it back together. Harry Byrd, on the right there, attended Western Maryland for 2 years. Why is this important? Byrd would go on to become the president of the University of Maryland. Yes, Byrd Stadium was named after that guy. In fact, in 1914, The University of Maryland wanted to acquire Western Maryland. Could you imagine Westminster as College Park? That's a true story. It all fell through, nothing happened. ROTC has been around for since 1919 as one of the longest and oldest programs in the nation. In 1926, Richard Dick Harlow was hired as athletic director, football coach, and boxing coach. During his tenure, WMC became a nationally known football team with undefeated teams in 29, 30, and 34. In fact, the Green Terror term comes from a Baltimore Sun reporter that used to talk about the Green Terror taking the field. That was the football team. Tailgating. Tailgating is an institution at McDaniel. Check that out in the 20s and in the 50s. Still happening today. Best thing to do on a Saturday afternoon. In 1956, the first building, which was Old Main, is torn down, and you can see how close they actually built Baker Memorial Chapel right behind Main in both of those images there. In 1962, the library, which is now, oh, come on, there we go. The library, which is now Peterson Hall, continued to build collections and change, so much so that a library committee looked to raise funds to build a new one. Once built, the school had to take a break where it was a book walk where all the students moved every single book from Peterson across campus to Hoover Library. Check that out. You know what that is? That's the first computer ever on campus. 1966, look at the size of that thing. The first computer classes were also offered at that same time. In 1980, the Delta of Maryland chapter of Phi Beta Kappa is installed. Also in 84, the Physical Education Learning Center is formally opened, named for Robert Joshua Gill. We also have a couple of other alums that have donated some money for the Klitzberg Pavilion and the Leroy Merritt Fitness Center. Yes, that same Leroy Merritt. In 1994, the college opens its first foreign campus in Budapest, Hungary. Students from all over the world come to McDaniel Europe and Budapest to earn degrees, creating a unique global dynamic to the college. I love that picture. Isn't that just gorgeous? In 2002, Western Maryland College changed its name to McDaniel College, honoring William Roberts McDaniel, class of 1880, professor, secretary of the faculty, vice president, treasurer, acting president, and member of the board of trustees of the college. Oh my God, I've run out of time. Dr. James Leitner has given this presentation in 90 minutes. His best is 30 minutes. I just did it in 5 minutes. Come to our birthday. 150 years, homecoming weekend, October 21st. Thank you. Give it up for that guy. He's got a ton of energy, right? Unreal. Where am I? Who am I? Is this Christian? Is that where I am? What's up, buddy? Whew. All right, how we doing? Having fun? Oh my God, 5 minutes. All right, Christian Hogan. Christian is a lead software engineer at Law IQ, a regulatory analytics company in DC. He enjoys building real-time acquisition systems, learning new programming languages, and mentoring newcomers. Becoming an effective mentor is what he's here to talk about. Please welcome Christian.
All right, how's everyone doing tonight? Okay, I don't know how my talk's gonna go, but I think I might get the award for shortest introduction. Okay. All right, so I'm here to tell you about becoming an effective mentor. Everybody's familiar with the concept of mentoring, I assume. So let's jump right into it here. Or not. All right, so obviously we're all well aware of the value of mentorships. Why am I here to speak to you tonight? Mentorships are valuable, obviously, because students, the mentees, grow at an unparalleled pace when they're exposed to a mentor. So mentorships have obviously been present extensively throughout history. We have the first picture here. This picture is also actually called The Apprentice. We have the mentor on the right in the context of blacksmithing. This is an age-old practice, and it's still very applicable today in the information age. So we have the mentee on the left. He's learning extensively. Outlining the problem, mentorships, as I just mentioned, are extremely valuable, but mentorships, obviously, if they're valuable, they require an immense amount of time and effort on the mentor's behalf. So as business people, we want to make sure that we can optimize this process effectively. So how do we define a mentorship specifically? I like to say that it's an extended period of deliberate one-on-one instruction. That one-on-one concept is very important. Pertains to a specific role or task. We saw that it was blacksmithing in the previous slides. There are many ways to mentor, so mentorships can take on many forms. We have a bunch of different pictures here, but one example is a senior engineer mentoring a junior developer who just came on board. We also have a math teacher student, charge nurse, nursing tech, etc. Many examples in the modern society. So, outlining the goal. If we achieve a good mentorship, we should be able to say that we provided a positive mentorship experience for the mentee. We reduced the amount of expended effort for the mentor. We equip the mentees with tools needed to succeed, and then we can establish a repeatable framework so we can do this year after year. All right, so my experience as a mentor, I've mentored several junior developers. They had varying levels of experience as they came in. I also mentored a handful of summer interns just this past summer in 2017, and I participated in the Carroll Hackathon workshop last year. Earlier this year, I should say. So we have to take into account that mentees, as they come in, will have varying levels of experience. No two students are the same, so we have to treat them all differently. Their level of experience will dictate where the subject matter will essentially begin. So we want to tailor the experience, kind of like I just touched on. Some of the variables that we have at play here are the mentee's experience level, their personality type, their learning style, etc. We want to be, as mentors, we want to be prepared to switch up the pace. We want to tailor the experience so the mentee gets the most out of the experience as possible. We also want to select a path. So the mentee, they're going to want to pursue a different role. Someone may come in, they want to be a project manager. A different person may be a software engineer in the future. So we cater that experience to them and make sure they have a unique experience every time. We also want to foster curiosity wherever we can. So we have Curious George here on the right. We want to facilitate the process of self-guidance. We want the mentee to experiment, always feel free to experiment, and remain skeptic so that they can internalize why they're essentially an important part of the business on their own. We also want to assign open-ended assignments. So we have this nice little emoji here. Leave students to their own devices to solve problems. We want to make the deliverables clear always, and then we leave them up to their own devices. Also, we always want to maintain a strong sense of empathy. We want to know what the mentee is feeling. As a mentor, we should be strongly in touch with what's going on in their head, so we ask questions constantly. We want to gauge it so that we can measure their performance and then, like I said before, tailor the experience better. We also want to be able to communicate effectively with each of our mentees. So you may be a mentor mentoring several pupils at once. We want to make sure that we can communicate effectively to each of those just so we can minimize that amount of overhead and capitalize on our time. Also, you want to always improve your craft. As a mentor, you want to set a good example. We need to always be solidly grounded in our own experience to make sure that we can teach difficult subject matter to the mentees. We've all heard the adage, achieving mastery takes approximately 10,000 hours. This is no small task, so we need to work diligently towards that. We can also lead by example, so actions always speak louder than words. We want to favor decisiveness and stay mindful always of the way that you conduct yourself because it will likely rub off on the mentees as they come in. Also, we want to always stay humble, so we're always open to learning new things. We should kindly accept when you've made a mistake. Omniscience here, that's a myth. No one person can know everything, so it's always important to prioritize self-improvement over ego inflation. That's always more important. We also want to make sure that we strive for the right amount of sacrifice. Obviously, mentorships require sacrifice from the mentor, but not too much. We want to make sure that both the mentees and the mentors remain productive. We're still working in the business context here. We want to make sure we're capitalizing on that productivity. Then finally, we want to develop a framework so we can repeat this process. Create your own process, refine it consistently, share your thoughts and methods with others, and then always iterate. So hopefully this is shed some light on how you can become a better mentor more effectively. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next up is Haley. Is it Wickiser? Wickiser. I'm so sorry. Let me try this again. Hey, next up is Willie. Oh my gosh. Willie? Really? Is that bar still open? I may need it. Haley Wickiser. Haley is a user experience and user interface designer at Byteline. When not at work, you can find her hanging out with her pup, reading, doing some yoga in the backyard, or spending time with her family. She is presenting e-textiles, reinventing fibers for the 21st century. Give it up for Haley.
All right. Hey, everybody. So I'm going to be talking to you guys about e-textiles. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. I'm going to be explaining that and how they're reinventing fibers, the world of fibers in the 21st century. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background on fibers as well. So if you don't know what that is, that's okay. So what are fibers? What are we talking about? Not the leafy greens that your doctor keeps telling you to eat, and also not the cables that are bringing you your football on Sunday. What we are talking about are two different kinds of fibers. So one of them is natural fibers. These are minerals, plants, animals, like wool and cotton, and the other one is synthetic or man-made fibers like nylon or polyester. Sorry, guys. So what do we do with these fibers? So you can take a raw fiber like cotton and you can spin it. And when you do this, you can create a material like yarn. So this is one of the processes that you can do with fiber that leads you to building a textile. Another process that you can do is felting. So you take a raw fiber and you can use needles and create a structure that you see down here. So that is a textile, that bear head. As well, you can wet felt fibers and create something like a blanket. And that also is a textile. But it's not necessarily a textile. So when you create yarn is not a textile, it's a material, but you can do one of the following processes like weaving or knitting, and you're creating a textile. And a textile is a fabric or a piece of clothing. And here are some examples. So fabrics or samples that you might see at the store, those are textiles. And a piece of clothing like this, something intricate that's gone through many processes like sewing and embroidery, that's a textile as well. But we're here to talk about e-textiles. So what are e-textiles? They are a fabric or a textile that can hold a digital element or has a digital element embedded within it. So you usually need conductive materials to do that. And there are some conductive materials that are found naturally or man-made, like cotton, but you also need a more conductive material like copper or gold, and we'll use that with the less conductive materials to create like a conductive thread. And you can see that that's used here in this example. So we have our smart computer, the little computer down here, this round thing, and they're using the conductive thread to connect it to the power source as well as the light source. So they've embroidered with that conductive thread in order to make a fiber. You can see over here in this hoodie as well, this is a touch-sensitive hoodie, so as it's touched on the conductive thread, the lights light up, as well as this biker jacket. The conductive thread is used so that the lighting in the jacket lights up. And then as this is building, you can see it move into high fashion. So now on the runway, you can see like avant-garde pieces and more futuristic pieces using e-textiles within the fashion world, as well as some DIY projects. But even more so, it's moving into sports. So like over here on the right side, we have a pitcher's compression shirt, and it uses the conductive thread to analyze the stress within their elbows so they don't get pitcher's elbow. Smart materials can also analyze pressure, heat, light, moisture. Yeah, that's probably a funny one over there. So it gives you feedback based on those things. And I don't know if this is going to play, but this clip is showing a sound. So as they're pressing on these points here, there's different sounds that are being played. And this is really cool because it shows that an e-textile doesn't just give one type of feedback, it can give many types of feedback. So you're not just doing one thing. This Moto Pro suit is a more advanced e-textile. It actually gives like gymnasts and Olympians direct and real-time feedback on when they're doing their posture perfectly. Swimmers can use this as well if they put sensors within their suit, all on their limbs, on their abs. It reports back to this computer and they get that movement back so they can see how to track themselves better and swim faster, which is the goal. There's also fibers like this that have been developed that can monitor in real time people's glucose levels, their brain activity, their temperature, and send that back to their doctors so they're getting that vital information and they don't have to go in every day, or however it's improving the quality of life. NASA has also been interested in e-textiles since 1993, where they started producing their own conductive thread to replace copper. And they've been using that in space products for the past however many years, since 1993. So the future of e-textiles, I see it going into sports, medical fields, and high-tech spaces, probably mostly in the medical field, just because it can improve the quality of life so much. So thank you. Yeah.
job, Haley. All right, moving right along. Ooh, we're in for a treat here. My buddy, Mike Sheila, a self-proclaimed LinkedIn evangelist and sales nerd, is a trainer, speaker, and coach on all things sales, including LinkedIn, emotional intelligence, public speaking, and networking. Mike is a frequent podcast guest and can be seen on Fox 45 in Baltimore. When is it? Saturday mornings? Usually Saturday mornings, yeah. Usually Saturday mornings. Nice. And then also, Mike, you've been a resident of Carroll County since '05. You live with your wife and your 2 children here in Westminster. And this evening, Mike is presenting Bake the Cake, Sales and Non-Sales People and Everyday Sales. Please welcome Mike to the stage.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Sheila, and I am very excited to be here tonight because, like you, for the next 5 minutes, I have absolutely no idea what I'm about to say. Actually, what I'm going to do is tell you a little bit about the last 21 years of my life. I have been in sales since 1996, and I've learned how to be a good salesman by doing a lot of bad things and making a lot of mistakes as a salesperson. So hopefully you're going to get some interesting things from me today about how to be a good salesperson. Sound of applause. How many of you are in a sales role for your company now? All right, it's going to be a long 5 minutes. I asked that because it's always good to get a perspective. So why cake? Cake's yummy. I like cake. Cake's good. I happen to love sales too. So why shouldn't sales be like cake? Actually, it's more about that a sale is a process. There's a recipe that you follow, and if you repeat the recipe, you get good cake. The problem is, salespeople want to screw around with the recipe, and they want to leave eggs out, and then the cake tastes like crap. So if you follow the recipe, you get good cake, you get good sales. The first ingredient is being a professional. Now, I should not have to talk about being a professional, but ladies and gentlemen, here we are. I'm talking to you about what it means to be a professional. There are some key ingredients that go into being a professional. It's about development, attire, and timing. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, what do those 3 have to do with being a professional? Professional development. You need to learn. You need to grow. You need to read. Pick up a damn book. Educate yourself. Get into a networking group. Get into a mastermind group. Take a sales course. Read, learn, grow. Attire. What does what you're wearing say about you when you go into a meeting? What does your posture say about you when you go into a meeting? What does your voice say about you when you go into a meeting? You need to think about these things. I'm not going to read this slide. You all can read. Anybody not understand this one? This drives me nuts. 5-minute rule. Know it, learn it, love it. Prospecting. This is one that almost every salesperson screws up. Imagine, if you will, that it is ladies' night at the local bar. And a guy walks into the bar and there's 100 women standing at the bar. And what he does is he walks up to every woman going, will you go out to dinner with me? 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 Now, statistically speaking, eventually he will get a woman to say yes. Ladies and gentlemen, that is cold calling. It is an extremely ineffective way to find clients. What you are better off doing is developing and leveraging borrowed trust. In short, you get people that like you and trust you to introduce you to the people that you want to do business with. It makes sales faster, more effectively. Finding the pain. Does this hurt? Does this hurt? Does this hurt? All the sales books out there. Jeffrey Gitomer, Zig Ziglar says, find the pain. Where's the customer's pain? No, you don't care about what the pain is. You want to ask, why does it hurt? Think about that. If you figure out why it hurts, you can figure out how to make it not hurt. Fourth ingredient, presenting, and why most people suck at it. There are really 3 core reasons that a presentation either puts the customer to sleep or doesn't get the job done. First, the presentation is almost always focused on the company. Look how awesome we are. It needs to be focused on the customer. Second, presentation skills. Your salespeople are not practicing the presentation. Get into a Toastmasters group, do something, and listen to understand the customer, not respond to the customer. I'm yelling, I'm sorry. I get excited about this, I'm very passionate. But it's important to listen to understand and not respond. The final ingredient is process. All three of them. You as a salesperson, you have a process that you must follow. Well, guess what? The customer has a buying process. And on the top of that, the customer has a decision process. And when the sun, the moon, and the stars all line up with three processes, you get a sale. Thank you very much.
Always entertaining. Mike, I think you and I are in an elite class of the Three Timers Club. We have given 3 presentations at IGNITE Carroll, so welcome to the club, buddy. Great job as always. All right, home stretch. We've got 2 more to go. Next up is Steve Colella. All right. We've introduced all of our speakers thus far. Well, I have. Katie wrote this. But we're going to allow our next speaker to introduce himself during his presentation as he shares with you his journey in owning your fat. Please welcome Steve, everyone.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Stephen Colella, and I live in downtown Westminster. By trade, I am a marketing and economic development professional. By training, I should be an English teacher. And by terminology, I am a 6'2" Caucasian male. So all this stuff up here does not matter at all. It's like boring stuff about me. I grew up around here. I was involved in lots of normal, boring stuff. I teach marching band. I have a dog. So why am I telling you this? My random facts, my likes and dislikes, they make me relatable. I want you to understand that I'm just a regular guy, someone you could have a beer with or trust to watch your dog while you're on vacation. Don't ask. So my question for you tonight is, how many of you have ever been uncomfortable with your body? How many of you have ever wanted to lose weight, gain weight, tried diet, exercise, medicine, supplements, surgery to accomplish those goals? This is me in October 2016, literally almost like a year to the day. And I have never been happier, we were talking about terminology earlier, to be classified as obese class 1. I was formerly classified as obese class 3 or super obese, which is super fun. So how did it get this bad? Depression, anxiety, stress, tough job, broken relationship. Everyone's got a story. Mine is really just that I stopped caring about myself. So what do? Fixing your life is not easy. Standing up here and talking to you about how fat I was is like not easy. Getting a new job, tackling the stresses of day to day. There's lots of different things you can do to make life better. But the biggest thing comes down to making a choice. To the best of your ability to choose your environment, who and what you surround yourself with, making small changes that won't turn your life upside down, but add up and snowball into big results. So let's get back to fat. The title of my presentation is Own Your Fat, and I decided that stood for food, action, and thought. Food is what you put in your body, action is what you do with your body, and thought is what you think about. So when it comes to those 3 things, the first one is food. What are we eating? How much of it? How does it make us feel? How do our bodies process it? If your meals leave you feeling bloated, or if you feel uncomfortable eating in front of others, if you are guilty or ashamed after you eat, then maybe you're trying a diet, something like Atkins or Weight Watchers. These diets are restrictive, they're unsustainable, they involve a lot of counting and math, and I'm not really into that. So second of all, action. What are we doing? How often are we doing it? How does it make us feel? How do our bodies process it? I used to dread going outside and working out, and I sweat a lot. And that's a big problem for me, and it used to be kind of embarrassing. A lot of people might try to overdo it and end up injuring themselves. They might decide they're unable to do anything without even trying. And then thought, what are we thinking? How often are we thinking it? How does it make us feel? And how do our bodies process it? Shame, guilt, negativity, self-hatred, excuses, lying to yourself and to others. Those negative thoughts have a real physiological impact. The power of positive thinking, and I know I don't want this to sound like a cliche, happy-go-lucky performance up here, but thinking positively instead of thinking about everything else in a negative light, thinking about yourself in a negative light, can really make a big change. But the reason I put this up here, and this is probably my slide with the most text, is because all of this is what worked for me. But I'm here to tell you to do what works for you. No one diet is going to work for everyone. No lifestyle change is going to work for everyone. But helping yourself, finding your own way to do things, and being accountable to yourself, deciding if things make you feel good, deciding if they have a good impact on your long-term and short-term goals. Doing the same thing over and over again is commonly referred to as the definition of insanity. So if you're trying the same thing over and over again and it's not working, try something else. Be accountable to yourself and discover what's going to help make you feel better in your life. And the last thing I want to talk about, excuse me, is I brought up diets earlier, and Weight Watchers, I wanted to bring this back up because I feel like Weight Watchers does this the best out of any cult diet. Support system. You have to have a support system in place, and whether it's Weight Watchers or something else, that's what you need.
Well done, Steve. Thank you so much for sharing that. Finally, here we are. Holy cow. What's that? That's right. Bum bum ba-da-dum bum ba-da-dum bum ba-da-dum bum bum ba-da-doo. So wish that I could hum and speak at the same time, because that'd be awesome to have that soundtrack going, but I digress. Michelle Scholand? All right. Happily married for 14 years to Mark and proud owner of 3 dogs, Michelle earned an associate's degree in fine art with an emphasis in music and later went to Towson University for music education. Michelle is the owner of My Staycation Box, a monthly subscription-based vacation that appeals to all 5 senses based on a popular destination that is delivered right to your front door. Obviously a big fan of Game of Thrones, she's going to enlighten us with her passion and share with us business lessons that she's learned from watching Game of Thrones. I cannot wait. Please welcome Michelle, everyone.
Hi, yeah, my name is Michelle, and I am addicted to Game of Thrones. I just want to say I am loving all these topics here. I'm learning so much, and I hope my passion does not disappoint, but which it could if you've never heard of the show or the book Game of Thrones. So for those of you who have never seen or heard of the show, let me get you up to speed. There's a lot of stabby, stabby, sex, sex, stabby, stabby, sex, stabby, stabby, sex. The people of Westeros, which is the kingdom that focuses on the show, and there's a lot of wealth of information that's not just about life, but entrepreneurship. So in speaking of sex sells, this type of marketing works because it's attention grabbing. So when you think about hot content, ask yourself, could sexy poses or flirty language make your message stand out? I drink and I know things, which means the lesson is go to networking events. Networking is great for connecting with like-minded professionals, but even more fun when there's booze involved. A mind needs books like a sword needs a whetstone to keep its edge. This takeaway is it's better to be smarter than your competition. And basically it says education is everywhere, so take advantage of it. Listen to podcasts, read blogs, all that good stuff. Everyone wants something. And when you know what a man wants, you know who he is and how to move him. Deep, right? This means in order to know what a client wants, you need to listen first. Don't be quick to tell them what you think they need to hear. Like in the recent season, Danny and John awkwardly met for the first time. She demands him to bend the knee. And basically, she's not listening to John, who just wants some mining dragon glass. But when she does listen, she gives him what he wants, and that's the first step to getting what she wants. Lannisters always pay their debts. The key takeaway, pay your own debts, man. Even more so, develop good financial reputation. But a different spin on this could be, if you are wrong with me, we'll get you back. So if you're with the IRS or Lannisters, CYA. Oh, of course, it's a women's world in Westeros as in business. And women can be very powerful, like Daenerys, who commands armies and raises cities. Breen, of Tarth, she's like a female gladiator. There's a whole bunch there. So basically, being a woman is not a disadvantage, but an advantage. And between Game of Thrones and real world, women are leading Fortune 100 companies. They're demanding to be heard when it comes to equal pay. The key is be cocky, but with class, knowing what you want and seizing the moment. Let's embrace our failures. Come on now. It's part of the journey of being successful. Sam, Arya, Theon, they all could have called it quits, but that didn't always happen well. But in business, basically, the faster you can bounce back, the better you are towards success. And a lot of this goes back to the different things when it comes to effective content marketing. I think I'm a little off here. We're just going to keep moving on. Never forget what you are, the rest of the world will not. This means embrace your quirks, or in business, your own mistakes. Two examples is when Bran lost the use of his legs, but there's other gifts that helped him persevere. Lady Olenna Tyrell, an old noble with a wealth of knowledge that allowed her to achieve old age, which is a rarity in the author George R.R. Martin. All good leaders do not start with many followers, but if you lead, encourage, and inspire, staying true to your core values, more will join your cause. Super evident in Danny's storyline. So let's consider this when it comes to building your brand or social media followers. That also goes along to the speaking of the language of your audience. Westeros is made of a lot of cultures and languages, just like business, whether it's coding or customer speak. So depending on the situation, remember to effectively communicate and connect. Lastly, winter's coming. It's the phrase that's heard in like every episode. So perhaps the reason why it's drilled into our heads, it's because it is all about preparing for the unexpected, because you just never know what's going to be coming around the corner. With all the plot twists, it seems when all is well, people leave their guard down, and key characters, they fall and others do rise. So examples could include the Red Wedding, losing a dragon, Jaime Lannister's betrayal, not to mention the Battle of Living and the Dead. So in business, winter's always coming, so prepare now. This means planning for slow sales seasons, hiring the right employees and managers now so that you can help the future goals of your company. Then there's also knowing when to pivot in business. So can we agree that the Game of Thrones has led us on an amazing journey? As entrepreneurs, we want to sit on that iron throne, but the road is crazy hard. So surround yourself with trusted friends, advisors, trust your gut, and remember, when all others are sheep, be a dragon. Yeah.
All right, that was fantastic. And as a fan, I totally got everything. I was like right there. Awesome, awesome job. So here we are at the end. Is there one more slide after this real quick? Okay, yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to you guys in the back, and if we could all please put our hands together for the Community Media Center. They've been handling all of the behind-the-scenes video and sound and stuff, and of course to the Carroll Art Center, who has graciously always allowed us to come in here and mess things up and go crazy and have this amazing performance. If we can go back one slide, I'm sorry. Once again, a shout out to all of our sponsors that make this happen throughout the year with all of our events. Your support and generosity is felt in each of us involved in the Tech Council and with IGNITE. So thank you guys very much. All right, 2 forward. And that's it. Before we go, one more thanks, because to get up here and share a passion or an interest or a topic with total strangers is kind of scary and maybe a daunting task, but everyone did it tonight with ease and with class. And if we could please show them, all of our presenters, one more huge round of applause. Well done, everyone. This has been one of the most successful Ignites that we've had, and it's because of you that make it happen. So if you in the audience who are listening tonight, if you have something that you would like to share with us, please don't be silent. Let us know. Contact a member of the Tech Council. Hit us up on the Twitter name, hit the hashtag up, let us know. We love organizing and keeping this event going, and so we really need you to provide the content and to make this such an amazing night. So again, it's wonderful to be here in Carroll, igniting Carroll, right here in the heart of Carroll in Westminster. Thank you all so much. Once again, have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next year. Thank you.